We are Easy Allies, and this is the Easy Allies Q&A for the month of May 2020. I'm joined by Ian Hink, Daniel Bloodworth, Michael Damiani, Bradley Ellis, and a very sleepy Michael Huber. Switching from one pandemic to another pandemic, and then back to the other pandemic. This is our $20 tier, patreon.com/easyallies. Once a month, people submit a bunch of questions for us to read as a group, and as many of us as can possibly gather together and do that live. So if you want to be a part of this for next month, shout out to Ben Moore, who is not able to be here today, but gathers all of this information together for us. We have 25 questions from our lovely patrons at that $20 tier that we will be going through. One of them specifically directed at Ben, and I have a prepared response to read from Ben.
Cool.
But let's do it if y'all are ready. Kicking it off with You Know Him, You Love Him, Alexander Zirianov, with the doozy. This I had some prep time on this one, and I still don't know how to think about it. Hello, allies. Imagine that each of you has secretly received tactical pause ability in real life. How will you use it? Will you use it for Easy Allies, particularly for your reaction streams? I'm guessing this is Final Fantasy VII Remake, so everything kind of slows. You know, as you get the, but wait, hold on, let me bring up the weapon wheel. And
I've thought about having this power since I was a little kid. That like
the first thing I think of is to beat traffic, but like if you know that traffic stops, then you can't go anywhere.
Well, I mean,
because you can't usually move.
So I don't know.
That's the question. Can you move or not?
I would guess not. I would think you would just have enough time to make a decision, but you can't actually move your body.
Yeah.
To think about it. Thank you for everybody subbing and resubbing right now.
You could read a book, maybe. Just pause every page, so it'd just be like, page,
in record time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, would you age while you do it? I guess just to think about something. If you're presented with... I could just do it during the podcast, you know? It's just somebody poses an interesting question at me, and then I just like come back with like, whoa.
I don't think about anything for that long, so yeah, I don't know here. I like the book idea though. That's pretty genius. That's like a semi-hyperbolic time chamber in a way. You could read all the books in the world, like, and lose no time.
But Alexander specifically brings up reaction streams, and I don't know how that applies.
I don't either. Would it be like us faking it then? Yeah.
I guess
to make it worse.
No faking.
Make it work.
It's got to be raw. But I guess because we don't know, we haven't done the research. We could like look it up or something. But would the internet be slow too? You know, would literally the world slow down? That's a tricky one.
Does it have an area of effect, or is it the whole universe slows down?
Maybe I would have a better answer for this if I could tactically pause and think about it for an extended period of time.
So we eat late a lot, and like last night, like I basically made it to Wendy's like right before they closed, like the last person in the drive-in. So it would totally be one of those things where it's like, okay, pause time. What food we're gonna get before they all close?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because that conversation can take a while sometimes.
So other people are involved in that tactical. It's you. You're turning to Aerith. What kind of cheeseburger do you want, Aerith? All right. Mikhail Aniel. Hello, Easy Allies. Don't miss Ys Memories of Celceta on PS4, released in the North America on June 9th and in the EU June 19th. Love and respect.
Oh, that's it?
Taking that tier to drop a recommendation.
No offense, did not make the Games of June Huber Syndrome only because it had already been released before. It wasn't a new release. It was like now it's out on PS4 type thing, so I didn't mention it on the episode coming up. Just know ahead of time. No,
that's
personal.
That's Nihon Falcom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben and I interviewed those guys a couple of times. They're really, really cool. They're nice.
Nice. It looked cool.
Ys is the one that you can just pick up any game, right? It's not the like super continuous one, like the Cold Steel or whatever.
No,
I don't know about on that level.
I always get confused because the protagonist is always a redhead, so I never know.
Like, is it the same person? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I just played the original on the TurboGrafx thing. And
oh wow,
that was pretty cool. And I'll probably, before I jump into this or anything else, I'll probably go back and finish book 1 and 2, and then maybe figure out where to go from there.
Nice.
Chat says they're standalone mostly.
It's the
Mostly.
same guy,
Nice.
but he always has memory loss. Is that true?
I wouldn't be
It's like-
surprised.
It's like C-3PO.
Yeah.
He's been there, but somebody pointed out R2-D2 there at the birth and death of Leia.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And they showed the screenshots. It's like,
Touching.
emotional. Hello, allies. I was wondering if DRD7-14. Thank you. I was wondering if any of you have been using VR to engage more socially with friends, family. I, for one, have found a surprising level of comfort in being able to hug my family members in No Man's Sky when saying our goodbyes after a session. It's become way more meaningful and something I look forward to when I put on my headset. So, have any of you who have VR experienced anything like this since social distancing became a factor in our lives? If not, I do recommend it with those closest to you outside your home. It's surreal and special. I'm grateful for this technology more than ever. Eternal love and respect, DRD7-14. I mean, I have like all of the VR equipment, so I doubt.
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
you have
Jones
the
keeps
opportunity.
stealing it from
I got the Quest, I got the Rift, I got the.
Oh,
actually,
Brad gave you the Quest?
I gave
I
the
do have the Quest.
a long time ago.
Yeah, and I actually brought the Valve Index back to the office, so it is in the office right now. It is in the storage room. So if any of y'all want to go in and check that out, but
I try to like FaceTime my mom once in a while.
yeah, Animal Crossing has been therapeutic this way. We just actually have a friend that yesterday got the Switch and is playing Animal Crossing today. And Amanda's so funny. She's like, I get to play Animal Crossing with her tomorrow. And I'm like, the day after tomorrow. She was like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that one day, the 1 day buffer. But that's been really great, not only to connect with the community, but just to like, see friends and wave at them and get within 6 feet.
Yeah, I definitely don't have any family members that are
Yeah.
in VR.
I wonder.
I've gotten to the point where, like, even when I see people touching in like a YouTube video or like shaking hands or something, even if it was like shot before the pandemic, I'm just like, I get like freaked out by people touching now, even in TV shows.
It's strange. I watched. It's a bummer because I feel bad for all these like comedy specials that recorded in 2019 and are now coming out, and they're just like, when you go to a restaurant, and it's like, I don't. Sorry, this bit is lost on me. Patton Oswalt. Try again.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm choking on my chicken.
Do you need some time?
I'm okay. Just people were wondering what was going on.
All right. Yeah, feels good. Anything else? Like weekly hunts. Anything else like that? Gratifying and. Haven't really had a chance to. I'm going to be jumping into Minecraft Dungeons and haven't really had that chance. But I might maybe co-op with some peeps. It's the best we can do. James Davey, hey Allies, what do you think of the following hidden gem games? And do you think any of them deserve a remaster? Here we go, one by one. The games are 007 Bloodstone, which I, as a big GoldenEye fan,
amazing third-person Daniel Craig remaster, one of the best Bonds.
Is it time with him doing his last Bond? Is it time to bring it back? Remaster? Bloodstone on Switch?
Solid 778. Like, sick game. Love it. Sorry.
Love it.
I always get excited about that one.
No, you have. Yeah.
That was the first one. That's such a sick game.
When did that one come out?
That was like mid-2000s, probably late 2000s.
Was that like after his first movie? Where was that movie?
It was, I don't know. It was like an original story. They made a big deal about that, and it was like third person. Daniel Craig.
Wasn't there a lot of? Am I maybe thinking of the Bourne game? Wasn't there a lot of like physical, like
that's
knee
Bourne.
slams and slamming people into walls and stuff? That might have been Bourne.
Can you kill someone with a book in the Bourne game?
You totally can.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you totally can.
Also, wouldn't the late 2000s be 900 years from now?
Yeah, that's what I was.
I got stuck on that. I was like, late 2000s?
The late
2000
zeros? Is that
The
what
late aughts.
The late aughts.
The late
Yeah,
2000s.
that's not a word that we use very much. Is Damiani getting his car work done? What's going on back there?
Yeah, he's getting ready to race.
Like Mario Kart?
Is it Mario Kart?
What's the matter,
come on,
Bloodworth? You don't like Mario Kart, bro?
I thought it was the Walmart.
I have everything pretty
gym
small,
there.
so.
The gym?
Yeah, it looks kind of like the Walmart gym back there.
Oh, the gym.
Yeah.
No, it's Mario Kart. It's one of the free wallpapers from the Nintendo Wallpapers place.
I was getting ready to do some squats.
They got some good stuff there.
Now you've set Ian off, and we're not going to get him back for the next 10 minutes.
It's over.
All right. Binary Domain.
Sure. One of the best ever.
Side-scrolling shooter?
No,
Is that
third person fighting robots. They're coming apart. The way they come apart when you shoot them is so cool. Ben Moore, also, I'm sad Ben's not here, but like Ben and I love Binary Domain.
Yeah, I've heard you two talk that game up for years.
Sick game.
Yeah.
Sketch robots.
It's definitely a niche one, but yeah.
A gem, according to
definitely
said. Wow.
That one has voice commands and stuff too, right?
Yeah, I was thinking that, didn't it?
Wow. I remember the name. I do not remember the game.
Made by the Yakuza team. I knew I was trying to remember who made that.
All right.
Let's just queue up Huber here. Here we go. I'm just queuing it up. I'm putting the T down. Here we go. Call of Juarez, Bound in Blood.
Oh yeah.
Like,
dude.
Surprised that's not done.
We're just gonna say yes to all these.
Yes, please.
The next one I'm so excited for. Isn't there a new Call of Juarez coming?
Yeah, because they did Gunslinger. Do you remember that one, Jones? It was a little more cell shady, a little more arcade combo based.
I've never played a Call of Juarez.
Okay,
not even for a second.
The first two, the Call of Juarez and then Bound in Blood, are more like slow pace westerns.
Yeah.
Then they had Gunslinger, which was more like action indie type game, and then they had the Cartel, which is like the bad one. But I think Bound in Blood is like the best one.
All right. So. Driver San Francisco is something that I definitely wanted to play. The open world, moving around really quickly, switching cars. Like
never played it.
That sounded super cool. Because I checked out Crew 1 and Crew 2, and that just seemed, obviously, different games, different vibes. But
is this the one where you like teleport to the drivers?
Where you're like a spirit.
Yeah.
You're like a ghost driver. And
I remember that one.
Zip around.
I got the official. There's a question in chat. It's kind of sidebar question. The niche versus niche thing it's totally North America versus Europe.
I say niche because I'm pretentious. Yes. I also say accoutrement. And
yeah.
aunt.
So it's like adding a U to a word, basically. They're
aunt
both
is
correct.
My favorite, Ian.
Listen, aunt is the right way. Everyone's crazy. I'm gonna stand by that one.
Resistance 3.
Ooh.
Yes.
3 specifically, not the trilogy.
Yeah, 3 was the best one, dude.
3 is the best one gameplay wise, but the story was.
I mean, like, the Resistance stories were whatever, anyways. Like, who cares?
2 got interesting, but yeah, it was
kind
also crazy.
Kind of. Like, 3 is like the best, the most focused, dude. Definitely Half-Life 2 vibes, especially.
Didn't 3 advertise with the giant thing? Where like there's some big boss fight or like some big colossus comes out? Is that 2?
Sure
3 was snow vibes. 2 was like San Francisco alien invasion.
Bad ending though. I remember that. What a weird ending for that series.
Yep, that entire series ends on kind of a whimper.
So weird, dude.
For sure. I've been thinking about Resistance lately though, like recently. Just as the generation ends and how we missed a lot of these, how some big franchises skipped an entire generation, and Resistance is one of those.
Yeah, it's not coming back for a while, dude.
So,
if ever.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say you're sounds like you're holding on to some hope there.
You're in Spider-Man territory now, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zack and Wiki, the quest for Barbarossa's treasure.
Hell yeah! I've been wanting this remastered forever, dude.
It would be cool, but yeah, I'm curious how many things are very dependent on the Wii Remote.
All of it. Just make it docked only. I don't care.
You'd have to make it, Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
There you go. Done. Easy. Mad World. Remember Mad World?
Mad World was cool.
Solid game.
Did they use the song Mad World for the trailer?
No,
that's Gears of War.
No,
Gears of War. That's right.
Gears of War.
What's the sequel to it called again? To
Urban Anarchy Reigns.
Anarchy Reigns. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was.
They packed those together.
Yeah, they're sort of tied together. I don't know if I'd call it a sequel.
Mad World would work as well as it would in 2020 as it did when it came out.
The motion gimmick, slamming people into trash cans and like breaking their backs and stuff, was like the reason it was cool. Is that novelty? So yeah, I think you're right, Damiani. I don't know.
Yeah,
it might be better for a sequel than a remake.
like a
remaster?
reimagining, maybe.
Sure,
Because,
yeah.
Hero, we were talking about like the Dead Rising like 1 getting like a RE Engine remake or something, but like they'd have to kind of reimagine it maybe a bit too. Like Mad World would absolutely be an awesome game because just get like Platinum in there and have them like reimagine it and stuff, like another crack at it. I think it'd be freaking awesome. I don't want to see the OG game just remastered. I want like them to do something with it.
Sorry, I'm just completely hung up on a Dead Rising 1 remake. Oh man.
Yeah, with Ari Engine Jones.
We were talking about this so much during
that
Dead
would
Rising too.
I don't know if Ari
It's
Engine.
not there. The tech is not there. Anything like further than 30 feet away.
Next gen,
drops
baby.
To 30
Next
frames.
gen is coming.
RE Engine 2, baby. Version 2.
How cool would it be, Huber, if you had to like restore power to the whole place? So like every time you go into a new area of the mall, it's real dark, and like if it's during the day, like the sun's coming in through the windows, you can kind of see stuff, but like all the shadows are just like super super dark.
The dream.
Wow, I gotta just force myself.
Oh, yeah.
Not to think about that.
I'll be there, and they're gonna add co-op this time here, right? Yeah.
Saw somebody booting up our last game, Max Payne 3, the other day, and they said it totally holds up. I don't really know if a remaster. Just go play Max Payne 3. I think that game's still. I had a blast.
Yeah.
The only problem I had with Max Payne 3 is Max is just like dumb. like, it's just, like there are like 10 moments in that game where Max is like, I gotta try to do this thing. Oh, I didn't do it. Okay. All right. My bad. Now I gotta go try to do this thing. Oh, I didn't do that either. Okay. It was just like, it got exhausting. I was like, Max, just stop.
Max, come on, dude.
Stop resetting my expectations, dude. But the gameplay, man, was I did not have fun that entire game. Like I just from start to finish.
Do you think Remedy would in a world ever somehow get back to this franchise, or that page is turned? That's done.
Their stuff is so crazy creative now. Every time they make a new thing, it's just like so different. I mean, not necessarily different because there definitely is a style to their combat, but they're just they really go back to the drawing board in terms of story.
Aren't they like owned by Epic now? What was that deal that they made with Epic?
They made so many deals it's hard to keep track of. Just licensing and
owned, or if it was just.
Because like
and
we're still got Max Payne now.
We're still waiting on clarity for that Alan Wake themed DLC, right?
It's coming out for sure. It is Alan Wake. It's been confirmed.
Not owned. Epic is just publishing.
Publishing for the next 2 games.
Oh, okay.
God.
Hey, good for Remedy.
Yeah.
Thanks, James Davey. And I love that a lot of people in the chat were just like, do them all.
That's what we said earlier. Like, just do all of them.
Yeah, do them all.
Like, why would we say no to anything if we had the power? Like,
we kind of said no to Mad World.
Well, and Max Payne 3 because it's just put it on, just re-release it. Just get that thing on PS4. If Driver San Francisco came to like PSN, and it was like a PSN free game, like I would totally check that out. Mike Hook 1. Hi, allies. Happy Tuesday. I just recently 100%ed Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I mean 100%. I went above and beyond just the Platinum Trophy or even the in-game play log. I'm talking about maxing all materia, 99 on all items, which I loved. So unnecessary, but so gratifying at the same time. Final Fantasy VI for sure was a 99 item run for me the very first time. It was just like, no question. 1 million gil earned, saw all possible different scenes and dialogue outcomes. I put about 140 hours into the game, and I'm already itching to play another full story playthrough. Question, which single player video game or games have you put way more time needed into simply because you enjoyed it so very much? A game that you just weren't ready to walk away from?
Bloodborne.
Yeah, like every From Software game, pretty much.
Yeah. I'm playing Dark Souls 2 again right now for like the 4th time.
If they got, how many healing materia did they get? Because on multiple playthroughs, you can get like, you can get like 20 plus easily. Did you take 20 plus of those and take those to max level as well? I gotta know that for sure. Yeah. Because I did like 4 materia. I was trying to do 4 materia of each where possible, but unfortunately, like some of them aren't available to get more than 1, like the freaking synergy.
I've definitely done several runs on Infamous games, but I don't know that I've done anything that's like totally that exhaustive.
Yeah, even like GTA's for me. I'm like when I hit my end point, I'm very happy. I'm like, all right, I'm out. See ya. Like, I don't need to. And certainly with GTA Online, like, there's just a lot more work left to do in that game. A lot more levels left to earn. That's the funny thing about GTA Online is, like, I sign on and some people are level like 648, and it's like, why even keep counting? What? Like, doesn't mean anything. Like, you don't get anything past like 150, I think. But it just, that number just keeps ticking.
Someone in chat just reminded me, it's kind of fun when you do the opposite of this, where it's like you spend 100+ hours playing a game the wrong way. Like, their example was Breath of the Wild. Like, they had 100 hours in and they hadn't even done the beasts yet or whatever. And like me for Oblivion, I think I played for like 200 hours and never even opened the first like gate.
Yeah.
I was like the leader of the Assassin's Guild, the Thieves Guild, the Mages Guild, and the story hadn't even started.
I saw a funny meme running around. I don't know what the meme is from. It's like a Terminator who's like in a room and there's a little girl like crouched underneath the desk, like shivering. And it's very cartoony, but like one of the memes that I saw of that was the player who finishes all the side quests first, and then the little girl is the game's first boss. He's just like,
yeah.
And like, that's definitely me. Like, if any like open world game is like, there's all this extra stuff you can do, but there's the next part you have to go. I'm like, nope, I'm doing Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm like, every side quest, because the progression in Horizon was so specific. Like, you knew exactly what you were going to get for everything you did. And so I'm just like, I need to level up like everything that I have.
Souls games are really funny like that, because it's like, if you have confidence and you know how to get like a good weapon and upgrade your stuff, the first like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bosses are a joke. You're just like, roll to the left. They're dead. Okay.
I have 217 hours put into FTL.
Wow. Have you
ever won?
It charts it? Does your PC chart that, or does the game chart it?
The Steam.
Steam does. Yeah.
Steam,
That's great.
That's bonkers.
Breath of the Wild, my collection of weapons was just overkill. It just didn't, especially like when I think I used one weapon through the entirety of the castle at the end when I like went through. Like, it didn't even break, and I had just like.
Didn't you just hoard a bunch of fire weapons at one point?
Well, one of my favorite memories, from Breath of the Wild was I did, the big. It's pretty close actually to where you start the game. There's like this big like temple thing, and there's this big winding staircase that goes down the whole thing. Yeah. I like parachuted into it, and then so like landed at the top and fought all the guys on the way down. And every time I killed someone and they dropped a sword, I just chucked it into the middle. And so when I like went to fight like the last couple of guys in the bottom, they was just littered with fire swords like everywhere. And so I was just like, I would just pick them up and throw them at the guy. So yeah, I know a lot of people were frustrated. Animal Crossing, bad weapon degradation. Breath of the Wild, good weapon. I actually was a fan of that, but I remember just completely ODing on weapons in Breath of the Wild. I'm like, here we go, I'm ready for this fight. It's just like, didn't even need it. That last boss fight's not that tough anyway. Ulf himself, there have always been strange trends in video games. At one point, it felt like everyone was making MMOs. Sorry. At another point, every movie had a tie-in game. What are some of your least favorite trends, and what do you think will be the next big one? Least favorite trend.
The next big trend or next least favorite trend?
Motion controls. I always remember the Mass Effect when he's like, and collapse. Everyone was like, what? Why would I want to do that? Didn't a Call of Duty game have that too? Where you could like look at your weapon and motion controls?
I finally hit the wall. Battle Royale, I'm done. I'm sick of it. Battle Royale killed Call of Duty for me. The new Modern Warfare is it's legit my favorite Modern Warfare multiplayer. My favorite Call of Duty multiplayer since like Modern Warfare 2. As soon as Warzone comes out, that's all anyone plays. It's all anyone talks about. That's all it is. Warzone. We don't need any more Battle Royales. Like, I'm good. So I hope next gen doesn't start with like, here's your 7 new Battle Royales. Like,
the E3 when everything was about second screen experiences, and then half of them didn't even make it to the final products.
I still miss that Black Flag mobile game though. That was fun.
Yeah, Black Flag I think was probably the best.
Yeah.
Tacked on multiplayer. Like, I think of Dead Space 3. It's like, why? You didn't need that. When they added the versus mode in Dead Space 2, it's like, dude, this was not good. Don't do this.
Tomb Raider, dude. Why?
Why? Yeah.
Tomb Raider has multiplayer?
Exactly.
What the hell?
There's so many weird games that have weird multiplayer added on that time.
So no more Fortnite, Huber? You done?
Haven't played in a long time. I mean, Fortnite transcends the battle royale genre. Fortnite is Fortnite, I feel like. Whereas, like,
Fortnite is Fortnite.
Call of Duty Warzone was like a
People's
battle royale. I don't know.
Let's get back into Smite, Huber. They're putting Cthulhu in there.
I know.
Dude,
I'm kind of into it.
My friend has, like, no exaggeration, 2,000 hours logged in Smite. Like, more.
I bought that Get All the Gods Forever thing back in the day, so I'm going to get that Cthulhu.
Nice.
I like tiny Cthulhus.
Yeah.
Like 8-foot Cthulhus are funny to me. What's the next one though? What's coming? No load time. So what can you do with no load time?
Trend.
Yeah, losing the, I mean, it's a thing, but losing the walking through little walls thing would be nice. That's not a trend, really.
Yeah.
There are only certain types of
I
games.
don't know.
That do that. First-person shooters don't do that.
I don't know if this is something that's going to catch on wider, but I still every once in a while like get these kind of like industry like sidebar sort of emails about like blockchain stuff, and like I don't need it. Like Atari's emailing me about blockchain Atari tokens. I'm like, sorry, I have no idea why I would care.
I love it when people try to get in on a big thing like way too late. They're like, Bitcoin 6 years later.
I would love for having to register an account for all these companies, whatever loyalty programs, to die in a fire.
Yeah. Get rid of your Bethesda launcher, your Uplay.
Yeah, Uplay, please go away. Uplay, EA, please go away. Stop.
Yeah, 2K, yeah.
2K popped up during Mafia. I'm just like
no, stop.
I don't know what's worse, having to create a new account or knowing you have an account. And I'm like,
yeah, where's the password?
Amanda's playing a lot of Hearthstone, and like last night she's like, "You want to play a couple rounds?" I was like, "Sure." And I've just, every year I'd like boot up Hearthstone again, and I just like booted up. It's like log in. I was like, "Oof." Like, okay, let me go. And I had it. I actually did have that info in my phone. That was an old email that was attached to ye old BattleNet account. But two things that I know are not gonna catch on, but I would love it. I loved the Assassin's Creed Origins. It's a bummer Odyssey didn't do this, but the Assassin's Creed Origins history
tour mode or whatever.
Tour mode.
What? No, they did it
for Odyssey, or was that just for Odyssey that they did that?
They did it for Origins, and I'm pretty sure they did it for Odyssey.
Yeah, they've got both. It just took a long time for Odyssey, Jones.
It was the same thing as Origins. It didn't. Origins didn't launch with it. It was definitely like 5 or 6 months after launch that they added that. But that's so cool. Anything that's set. Again, I'm just playing Mafia 2 right now, and it's just like, it's so cool to hear like, commercials on the radio about World War II, and like hear the music shift, and you just get this kind of slice of life of what, it must have been like to live in that era. And if you're taking that much time to do that much research, it would really be neat. I say that having not played Origins or experienced that mode or gone back to Odyssey to experience the thing that they added to it, but I think that's super cool. And of course, just after playing, I don't want to talk about Red Dead 2 that much, the single player mode. And like when we went to the camps, I was like, they're setting the new bar for like really interaction, for like how much you can talk to characters, and just like this far past Red Dead, it's just everyone's like, it's too much work. I'm not gonna actually do that.
I was actually kind of disappointed in the Red Dead camps, because I thought I would have like more control over. I thought it would feel like a town that I got to build up, like Suikoden or
when you bought things, it was tough to really sense what it did. It did a lot for you, but you didn't really do unless you just happened to be near someone that was utilizing that stuff. I did love, like, I would drop like $100 into the thing, and then I would see like, check the ledger and see like someone's name, and they put in like 70 cents, and I'm like, thanks Margaret, thanks.
Yeah,
70 cents, thanks a lot. Really moved the needle there.
Suikoden definitely holds up. 1 and 2.
Yeah, Ben played it not long ago.
Yeah, he became the Suikoden guy then.
Pass the torch. From Varun. Hi, allies. I personally hate the word overrated. to me, its original meaning has been lost. It became a word that just says, well, because I don't like it as much as everyone else, that means that they are wrong. A catch-all word that kills conversation. I don't mind disagreeing with someone or talking about maybe why you don't like this thing as much. But the word itself is something that stifles conversation, increases people being narrow-minded. So many times I've seen people just use the word overrated to describe something that's just not interesting. On the contrary, I like the word underrated because it has positive connotations and usually doesn't stifle conversation. It generally promotes it. Do any of the allies share a similar stance to myself? Does my disdain for the word even make sense? Thank you, Varun Kachwaha. Yeah, I've gotten over it, but for a while I had an animosity towards meh. I was just like, oh, come on. You know, just as a reviewer, I would just ask somebody, like, what'd you think of that? And they were like, meh. I'm like, cool, we won't talk about it then. Great. No, neat.
That's a gift. That's a gift, Jones. They're giving you the gift of your own time.
But then I wouldn't have asked, you know, if I wanted. It's like I want to know what you thought of that. Explain the meh. But yeah, I mean, Huber is underrated for sure. No one says underrated more than Huber.
Yeah, underrated gets overused though the same way. When I was streaming Zelda, someone was saying Wind Waker was underrated, and I was just like, "What?
Right?
What?"
I mean, I guess you could say, like, maybe on a technical level. Well, that's the weird thing is it's like it's alluding to referring to like critical reviews or whatever, but it's not. It's just like based on popular sentiment. So like Wind Waker, like it could have technically been underrated when it came out, but like who even remembers what the scores were anymore?
I thought everyone loved it when
now
it
it's
came
like
out.
really popular. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's all about like the tone and what you follow up with. I think it's a person maybe that I don't want to speak for you, but it sounds like some of the experience you have in doing some of these people who use overrated tend to, you know, be a little pushy and or don't want to actually have the conversation and just want to say it's overrated. Anyone else doesn't think this way, you know, you're dumb or something like that. They don't actually provide examples or say like, I feel this game is overrated because X, like it does this and these other games do it much better. Yet, you know, people just ignore that and don't really ever bring it up in their discussion, blah, 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 whatever, something like that. Versus, you know, I think this is that. So it's same with underrated. You gotta back it up and have an actual conversation and just don't say underrated full stop. You know?
But I think that's the thing. I think when people say something's overrated, it generally indicates that like, I am sick of hearing people talk about this. Please don't talk to me about it anymore.
Yeah, which for me generally doesn't tell me anything about the game itself and more tells me about their bubble, you know, like their world. It's like, in your corner of the world that all of your friends or the sites that you go to or the people you listen to, they're talking about it too much. But
and it's like posturing too, because it makes you seem above, you know, it's like, oh, Breath of the Wild was overrated. Like that's beneath me, you know. Like I didn't fall victim to the hype. You know, I'm impervious to the. It's kind of funny.
Is it just because you're using backgrounds? Do you feel a need to bring up Breath of the Wild?
You guys are talking about
happen to be one of our
Breath of the
top
Wild
10 villages.
Yeah, it's got to be Windows, man. Why are you gotta make these
overrated,
dude? Yeah. Well, I mean, I was looking up because Damiani's backgrounds are cool, so I looked up like video game backgrounds, and Polygon or whoever was like, "Here's an hour and a half of real time Breath of the Wild backgrounds." I was like, okay, but yeah, fringe is the word that I hate the most. But there's an hour and a half long ContraPoints video on that, so yeah.
I don't like surprisingly, especially in a review. It's surprisingly emotional. It surprisingly tugged on my heartstrings. Like what?
I've definitely used surprisingly.
That means you're coming in with preconceived notions.
So much of game trailers and never use that in a review. It's like one of the those types of phrases are like off limits.
Dude, I would not be afraid to use that for like some really weird games though. What if you're playing a game where you're just a bear and eat picnic baskets? But it somehow gets super emotional and dark or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's when you use that phrase.
Hey, only a Sith deals in absolutes.
What's one of the words?
I gotta look up some Hebrew reviews right now and see if any surprisingly are in them.
Yeah, you can't say fortunately. You're not supposed to say fortunately or
Alexander's very not on the case.
Or
who did that?
Like you're basically like it sounds like you're like making an excuse for the developer/publisher. Apparently, is the connotation there when you say like surprisingly. It's like I guess it's sort of leading as well, and it's not just, I don't know. There's was some interesting discourse about why those like leading words were not advised in reviews. Like, say what you mean, don't just like, you know, make an excuse for something.
I think games can defy expectations, though.
Yeah,
I think that
definitely.
maybe what there's just a better way to say it. You know, Brad Maneater was a little bit shorter than you thought it would be. You know, it's surprisingly short.
That's that. 100%.
Not gonna put words in your mouth.
It's surprisingly short.
It's like that. It's like that. It's like
Doom
the
Eternal
meme.
story is surprisingly more complex than you know, that's what it's saying.
By the way, I mean, this is I mean, feel free to use whatever words you want and stuff. Like, there's no like. I don't think there's any right or wrong. It was just interesting how like 10 years ago it was like I guess like hammered into me like, don't do this, stop saying these words, stop using these.
Oh yeah, certain personal pet peeves got pulled into things.
Yeah.
There's still some of those that like I
time.
end up avoiding, even though like this is probably a good word for this.
It's like that meme, Jones, where like surprisingly is like, and defies expectations is like.
Yeah, exactly.
Surprisingly, this game was overrated.
I saw that meme with Geordi from Star Trek, and I want to try to use that version.
Oh, he's making the
it's
face?
him having a conversation. He's like, no, and then he's like,
Oh,
yeah.
compelling. Compelling was the big
yeah,
blacklisted word.
You can't use
Compelling.
that. Stop using compelling.
Yeah, I don't think there's no blacklisted words like for every ally, but every ally has their own personal list of like, I challenge you.
We all love the word bolsters.
You know, try not to.
We all love that word.
No, canisters is the word we
Canisters, baby.
Canisters
It's so
has to
funny
be in
because,
every
like,
review.
Don't people like sometimes? I mean, it's such a weird balance because sometimes people get insulted when you try and even when you're giving your opinion, if you go too far explaining things. Whereas, like, if you just said compelling, the average person would be like, I get it, don't need to say any more. But like in higher critical, like, you know, intellectual circles, like, wow, that's just really bad. It's so weird sometimes. Like,
well, Dan Stapleton last night,
engrossing.
he put out like a rant tweet against people using the word title when referring to games. I'm like, I don't understand what that's about.
Dan's funny. Dan definitely every now and then is like, never use this word. Like,
yeah, there was someone in the industry in like last gen who was like kept telling everyone, stop using title for video games. Like, that's not, you don't use title. We don't say a title for a video game.
I love stuff like that, like using picture instead of movie or film.
Yeah.
Or like
It's a
project
moving
for like
picture.
anything. Like, that's an interesting project, you know.
maybe if you use it, I just like to vary things, you know.
Right.
I always whenever something's coming, whenever an idea is coming around again in a review, it's just like, how can I word this so I'm not saying the same thing I said before.
Doc Brown's
Piece
word for,
is the ultimate. Like,
Although in a lot of reviews,
a compelling piece.
I take out a lot of the game or of the game a lot
Portable
because it ends
movie
up not
studio.
being needed at all.
Yeah. Let's list other words we can use for video game by pretentiousness. You know, so we just so we know we can just have that.
Hey,
We can either have it at easyalis.com or we can just share that. We can put it up in Slack, pin it.
follow-up tier maker stream, we could rank words. Like,
rank review words.
That's words.
Kyle's definitely
Wholesale.
ruined experience. Yes.
Oh, experience
Dude,
has been destroyed. Yeah,
If any of
content
you
and
watching
experience.
on Twitch missed that, we didn't even scratch the surface on that tier maker stream. That's
Oh,
got to be.
Lord.
That's the
That
new
was-
Hall of Greats.
That was
Oh,
painful.
man, you kept gravitating
was-
towards like video game stuff. I was trying to get like goofy categories.
Tier Maker was so funny because we
I'll crack the whip
started,
next time.
and like Damiani, you suggested that we were all like, "Oh, that's a great idea. It's great to do in the pandemic too. Like that's great." And then 5 minutes into it, I was like, "What have we done?
Yeah.
This is, oh no,
This was a mistake.
yeah, the Pandora's box has been opened." And I love that, like Final Fantasy games. I'm like, great. And then like Candy, I'm like,
Yeah, Candy was intense.
like Candy, I just had to just let it go. I had, okay, it's fine. Okay.
Also,
all right.
because we were trying to like cram
They
it
don't
in
like
like
Pez?
7 minutes to the end of the stream.
All right. Speaking of arguments, we're all just gonna have to kind of be cozy through this, okay? Because I don't want us to, I don't want emotions to be heightened, okay? Everybody, just take a breather. Master Pants, Britney Spears' "Baby One More Time" or Christina Aguilera, "Genie in a Bottle"?
Genie in a Bottle has more interesting melodic runs. Maybe.
I think I'd go with that too.
Ooh.
I don't like that. Oh baby, baby. Like I don't like any of
Like,
that.
that's a good melody. They both slap in their own way.
They do.
Yeah.
It's interesting. One is like post coitus, and one's like pre coitus. You know, it's like the genie in the bottle's like, hey, should we maybe? And then like hit me baby one more time. It's like we did. Let's do it again.
Gotcha.
Just trying to analyze these. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Mariah Carey will always be my baby.
You mean coitus?
mean,
Shupankar Parajat. Hi, allies. I recently started. Damiani didn't weigh in on that at all. I'm sorry, I can't move on. Damiani, what are you in the?
What's it gonna be,
Christina Aguilera
Damiani?
camp?
what's it gonna be, Damiani? He's milking
I'm
it.
gonna go with. I think I'm gonna have to go with Genie in the bottle.
That's right.
All right.
Right answer.
That's
right
right.
answer. Bloodworth, I didn't hear you either, man.
I honestly don't
Bloodworth?
like if you played those songs, I would probably know them, but by name, I have no clue.
Oh my goodness, you know both of those songs. You know both
You
of
know
those
yeah.
songs. Bloodworth. It would
Genie
be
in a bottle?
impossible for you to not know them.
Right.
Genie in a
I'm a
bottle.
genie in a bottle, baby.
Surprisingly good.
Yeah.
I recently started watching Tabletop Escapades. I'm about a third of my way through the first season and absolutely loving it, to the extent that I'm wondering why it took me so long to start watching it. So first things first, I want to thank Ben, Huber, Brad, Kyle, and Ian for creating all of that awesome content. My question for Ben is, and Ben is not here, but I believe he does not have an answer for this. He wrote an answer for somebody else. My question for Ben is, with Kyle no longer at Easy Allies, what does this mean for the future of Tabletop Escapades? I know it's something you're taking a break from, but I was wondering if that's a factor that affects the future of the show. You probably get asked this a lot, so apologies if this is the umpteenth time this is being brought up, but I was just wondering if Kyle's departure has changed your thought process with regards to the show. Love and respect as always. I don't think it has. I think we can safely say that Ben has not brought up Escapades.
It hasn't come up since we hiatused it at all.
Yeah.
So we can at least say that.
Sort of occasional board game show was sort of the spiritual successor. Then the pandemic hit. But I've got some plans for maybe some episodes of that.
Dude, have you seen the Resident Evil 3 version, Ian? Of the board
Oh yeah,
game?
it looks cool, dude.
Dude, there's like 5 times as many characters and monsters. Looks awesome.
Looks dope. Yeah, and I ordered that Bloodborne board game that may or may not show up this year sometime. I got like several of the expansions for it too.
Dude.
Like $180 on that bastard.
Dude, all in, Ian. I'm all in on
Yeah,
that.
dude.
Symphony of Steel. Have you ever gone beyond just the game? For me, I loved Star Wars Republic Commando so much, I ended up reading the whole novel series. I think it was some of the best Star Wars content made outside of the KOTOR Thrawn material. I'm currently going through the Warhammer 40k books because of the tabletop, and it has been one hell of a deep dive. Blood, you read the Witcher books after playing Witcher 1, or was it the other way around? Did you read the Witcher books first?
Oh, yeah, I read the books, way after. Like, I played Witcher when I, first basically got back into PC gaming. And I was, getting hyped about Witcher 2 from Miguel, basically. And then before Witcher 3, I read through the books that had been officially translated in English at that point. But other stuff I got into Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah.
Read that book.
Yeah.
Read a Mass Effect book or two.
Heber's out. He's done.
But yeah, I nothing that I totally went down the rabbit hole on, I don't think.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
always
I
kind of
can't-
wanted to read the Myst books, but I never have. They're making a show now, apparently, so maybe I won't have to.
Whoa.
But yeah. I watch a lot of videos about Souls lore and stuff, like Vatividia and stuff.
I want to say Megan got into all of that Assassin's Creed stuff. She was
Oh,
really
yeah.
into the full range of all the transmedia or whatever the buzzword is.
She's all in on that, yeah.
I
I
wonder.
read WoW stuff, I guess. I read one of the WoW books a long time ago.
Golden. Christy Golden, right?
Yeah. Before
all
the storm. Yeah.
Oh, actually, one of the earliest ones. Now that I think about it, games is how I got into reading fantasy novels when I was a kid.
Oh, cool.
Because I had Pool of Radiance, Dungeons and Dragons Pool of Radiance on the Commodore 64, and it was based on or tied into a Forgotten Realms book. And so I got that at the bookstore because of the same cover art. And then I read Forgotten Realms books for next
Cool.
4 years or something.
that the Drizzt ones with Drizzt in it?
I got it's funny because like I kind of fell off like not long after that, but like one of the first books that had Drizzt in it.
Yeah, I love this question because I love reading tie-in stuff. Read all the Resident Evil books, read some Hitman books. But my favorites have to be Dead Space because it's like prequel cultist marker stuff. And Mass Effect as well. I remember reading before the first game came out.
Right.
Yeah, before the first game came out, there was a really, really good prequel book to Mass Effect 1 that puts one of the main villains in a really good context. It was really solid.
I've read, I just realized I read some of the Dark Souls and Bloodborne comic books.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself, maybe you guys don't have this problem. I find myself having a problem, not a problem, but like, I wonder how much they're like approved by like this in the Souls case, like by like From Software or Miyazaki or whatever, like creator's intent sort of a thing. I find myself less interested because even if they're approved, it still feels like ancillary, like fanfic almost.
Right.
Where it's like, is this actually like, are you just making stuff up or is this actually like part of the lore and story of this thing I like?
I get that, Ian. I think it's so case to case because like they made a big deal about it with Mass Effect, with Dead Space, with Arkham. I saw someone mention too. I remember those Road to Arkham. You can see like how Batman captures Joker right before Arkham Asylum, like, and they made a big deal. They were like, "Hey, this is canon." So.
Worlds of Power, Damiani, you remember these books? Castlevania 2, Blaster Master, Ninja Gaiden. They had novelizations of all that stuff. And I like some of those books that I read that I never played the games until like decades later.
Bring up
That's a good
those
point.
choose your own adventure like Nintendo ones.
Mm-hmm.
There was one for Mega Man 2. Like think about like I'd have to go back and read that sometime. Like when I go back home, like I gotta read the Mega Man 2 novelizations again.
Yeah, definitely.
What was that book?
Chapter 1, Bubble Man.
I went back. I know this doesn't count because it's not story, but like it was really interesting having missed all the early Blizzard stuff and then getting into Wrath of the Lich King and being like, well, I got to play Warcraft 3. And then just going back and like playing Warcraft 3 purely for the story. And just falling in love with Wings of Liberty and being like, well, I got to play StarCraft now. And then like going back, turning all the cheats on and just like, all I'm doing this. And like that, pivotal Kerrigan moment, like you blink, you miss it. It was like, oh, is that it? That was the moment with go. Like I thought it would be this big drawn out cinematic thing because you see it recreated in Wings of Liberty and it's extremely epic.
The Valiant Mario and Zelda comics, those things were a little insane. They were pretty cool. Like they were like probably way cooler than the games at the time, honestly.
So those are the ones that were published in Nintendo Power, or are they separate?
No, the Nintendo Power ones, the ones drawn by that Japanese manga artist. You think of those ones? Because these are separately published comics. The Zelda ones sort of might look visually a little bit like the cartoon, but it's a much more serious tone. It's not as like goofy and
like the Link to the Past one.
Yeah, the Link to the Past one's like the manga one. That was Nintendo Power, and there was a Mario one as well. These are like more Western style. I mean, they look like some of the art, but they're really cool. Yeah, that type of stuff. Like, I wish more of that stuff would come back. It's kind of cool.
And I know all of you share my building hype, but in preparation for the Avengers game, I have been reading all of the Avengers comics. That they have had one. They have had one comic, one Thor comic, one Iron Man comic, one Cap comic, and I'm all prepped on that stuff.
That's
interesting to see if that.
I didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah, they shout out to Marvel. They've been sending me all of that stuff.
Oh, it's cool, dude.
So to check out.
Very
but
cool.
I thought you were all gonna snicker. You're actually excited about it.
No,
You got a Marvel hookup?
I love that
I'm into
idea.
it.
I'm still not sold on the game, Jones, but I love
Right,
that
yeah,
idea
yeah.
of like selling those characters.
But they're certainly throwing lots of crazy villains out in the comics, and so I'm like, does this mean they want to get this out of the way before the game? And they're like, the villain's not in the game, so we want to take the opportunity now to tell their story, or is it like, I wonder how much of that's going to be like you again?
We've been on this one a lot, but lastly, I have a quick question for you guys because I really like when these ancillary books and whatnot are like not required, but they enhance the story, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas something like Assassin's Creed, they have an entire comic book line that wraps up like the modern day storyline. Do you guys think that should never be done, right?
No.
It's like Halo 4 when you
Yeah.
go in and you're like, what the heck is happening right now?
Like you play 11 games, but because you didn't read one comic book, you don't get off. Like,
I mean that's pretty clear where they were like, this storyline has gone off the rails. We don't want to fix it in a game, so here, just throw a book together for people who care.
Did they make fun of that in Force Awakens? Where C-3PO was like, I bet you're wondering where I got this red arm.
Yes.
Like, not really.
That was weird.
Not really.
It was definitely cool,
awesome.
like in Mass Effect 3, when like
I
they
can
had
remember
referenced, you know, characters from the book that I read, and it was like, this doesn't really matter, you know, but because I knew that connection, it actually like felt a little bit more meaningful.
Asbo Zapruder, good afternoon, allies. I hope you and whatever facial hair you're currently sporting are all holding up well. Last month, I gave you the difficult task to tell us when you first came to know the fundamentally unknowable Don Casanova. Perhaps this month will be easier when I ask you for your earliest memories and or impressions of Michael Damiani. I've already shared mine when Damiani came up and he was like, yeah, that's Zelda retro. Anytime you want to redo that, I'm here for you.
That's awesome, dude.
He's like, that timeline was interesting. There were some decisions made.
Yeah, my earliest memory knows.
Earliest memory of Damiani isn't a specific memory, it's more of a vibe. Does that count? Like I don't have an instance.
Yeah, sure. Right.
My interpretation, my vibe, my feeling of Damiani was like, this guy is an absolute mastermind and a professional at video games. Just, you had this confidence, dude. Just, yeah, because like, you know, I would talk to Bossman a lot as an intern. Like, he's very chatty, but like, and like, you're very friendly, Damiani, but like a little less wordy. So you just always be like, oh, cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, oh yeah, I get that. You know, just very cool, very level-headed, just a really epic vibe.
I remember Damiani. I knew who he was before I even met him because of the Zelda community. And I knew Damiani. Like I knew of you, but I didn't really know who you were. Then I remember getting to know you more, and I was like, oh, Damiani likes a lot of the same games and stuff I like. I was like, this guy's got good taste, man.
It's funny because when you first came on to GT, man, like you were the guns blazing. Like Damiani had like big ideas, super hard worker right out of the gate. And I remember in the early days of doing retros, I guess like in the golden age, it was like so typical that I would like start the project and somebody come into my office and be like, dude, Final Fantasy X is one of my favorite games of all time. Can I play Final Fantasy X for the retro? And I'm like, yes, great. You know, like here's the DV deck. Go home, capture that footage, bring that stuff in. And then like 2 weeks later, I go in, I'd be like, hey, how's Final Fantasy X coming? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm busy. I don't like Tactics moved to 4 different people. Like I was like, like one person was gonna do it, and then they were like, this game's long, and I'm like, yeah, it's, you know, but you came to me and said you wanted to work on it, so I'll pass it to somebody else. Castlevania, I remember I like tried to pass a lot of that stuff on. Damiani comes to me and he's like, I want to do Metal Gear, and I'm like, great, let's do it. And he's like, I'll play all the games, and I was like, cool. And then like 4 days later, he's like, here's MGS1. I'm like, great, okay, I'll get started on it. And then like 5 days later, here's MGS2. I'm like, cool. And like he just boom, like. You know, I didn't play any of that. I think I played Acid. I think I played both Acid games because I knew because we only touched on them a little bit. Like we didn't cover the ending, so I didn't have to play both of the Acid games to completion. I think that was it. I think that's all that I touched, and just the rest was Damiani just like powerhousing through that. So very cool.
I remember he would always come in late, but then stay really late, and he was always playing on that far left TV.
Yeah,
doing some crazy thing. Yeah, some crazy ass thing. The one that comes to mind, it wasn't the earliest one, but was the Mega Man one when you had to beat Mega Man like 900 times or whatever you were doing. And I remember you were kind of going crazy. Yeah, just Damiani always
asked if I was a robot. And he wasn't joking. he got really. It was like, I need to ask you a serious question, dude. He's like, "Are you a robot, man?" And I'm not, because I'm not joking. You're kind of worrying me. I was like, okay. It's like, all right. It's like, we're gonna figure this out, but fine. I was so paranoid. Like, remember there's like power outages or something, or like they were saying about shutting down power or something.
Oh, right, because you had to leave the thing on the whole time.
Because someone made me a code to like scroll the screen thing for like one of the different tests I was doing, and you had to like leave it on for like about like 40-ish hours. It would take her 32 hours or something. And going home that night, I was like so paranoid. I was like, please don't like turn off and stuff. But yeah, and I was just happy Ian's first memory wasn't. Then we didn't start off with the Kingdom Hearts timeline because we would probably have murdered me.
It was pretty early, yeah. Oh man,
it was early, but I was like, Ian at least knows me before this, so Ian's not gonna like never speak to me again after this.
The Kingdom Hearts timeline was a lot of fun. I liked cutting it. Just Kingdom Hearts is just like pretty weird.
Dude, I did a lot of the capture for. What were you doing? It wasn't the timeline stuff, Damiani, but it was like with Kingdom Hearts Insider.
Yeah,
right.
the
and I would like have to find these clips that they would describe in their script. And I'm like, oh shit, where the hell was this in this game again? That was rough.
Yeah, that was one of the hard, difficult tasks of GT. Also, a lot of times you get freelance scripts and like they would mention something and you're like trying to play this game that you know nothing about and find it and just get the capture done by the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think with Damiani, like I'm really bad at all these. Like I don't remember like the first day anyone walked into a door, but like I think the thing that stands out, whether it was like when he came in or like when you guys were going through the hiring process or what, but just the the fact that you had been on stage at E3 with Nintendo and that you're running that Zelda site. I'm like, all right, yeah, my people.
Hell yeah.
My people.
I remember not knowing Damiani was a big fan of Cats, the animal, not the musical. And I remember if you go back and watch the Buttons saga, the first time Buttons meets Damiani and Damiani's at Station 1, that was not a thing where we asked Damiani to go over to Station 1 for that shoot. He was just there. And so he just came up like, can we shoot this now? And you were like, okay. And Damiani and Button's relationship was very complex during that saga. And I remember talking to Bossman and I was like, wow, Damiani's really a focus of this story. And he was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, Damiani loves cats too. And I'm like, does he really? And I remember I walked over to Station 1 and I had Buttons and Damiani's sitting there and he's just like looking up at the monitor and I just plop Buttons up on the side of the cubicle and Damiani goes, kitty.
That's awesome, dude.
And it was the most wholesome, the cutest thing I'd ever seen Damiani do. Like, just a whole nother world opened up in Damiani's brain for me at that moment. Jesse Blue. Hello, allies. I hope you're all well. I'm doing my best to keep healthy and rested despite being back to work full time, but that means I can afford to buy myself an early birthday present, the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack on CD.
Ooh, nice.
Happy birthday.
You see, is that just the movie or is that like the whole show? That's cool.
The whole show, probably.
That's so cool.
Yeah, there's
I wonder if that's
set,
just.
I think.
Yeah, that'd probably be more than one disc. I rarely get to have birthday celebrations at school when I was a kid because having an early June birthday meant school ended a day or two before, so I usually couldn't bring treats to share with the class. My question to you is, what treat was your go-to birthday treat to take to school? For the few chances I did get to take them, mine would always be Rice Krispie treats. Thanks, stay safe, love and respect, Jesse Blue.
My birthday's in the summer, dude, so I'm not in school.
Well, mine's January 20th, which is always Martin Luther King Day, so
donuts.
It's usually around there.
I always brought donuts.
Nice.
We don't do cake in my family. We do donuts.
Nice.
Yeah, my mom used to make really good caramel brownies, so sometimes we would bring those in.
Nice. Those sound good.
I don't know. I feel like I don't remember anything sometimes, but I don't remember bringing specific treats for my birthday to school. Like somebody might, like a teacher might have had a cake or cupcake or something there, but I feel like it generally like that would just be something we would have at home after school.
Yeah, this whole like giving other people candy on your birthday, I don't relate. Like, no. And especially I think even at that age, if my mom had been like, take this to school and give it to your friends, I'd be like, Sure. Just like on the way to school, like on the carpool. I just would have eaten all of that. But I'm a big fan of the cookie cake. That's my favorite cake.
Yeah.
It's just little gigantic chocolate chip cookie with just frosting all over it.
I grew up not liking standard cakes, so there's all kinds of experimentation with ice cream cakes and cookie cakes and
ice cream cake.
Yeah.
Ice cream cake. I feel bad. All those times I should have been bringing stuff to school. Wasn't it your birthday this weekend? Where are my cupcakes, Jones? Ebo Show. Hi, allies. Question to Ian. How do your friends from Naughty Dog take your criticisms about not liking their games? Thanks, Ebo Show. I think you said before that they don't care.
They don't really care. It's funny because I have actually like I know a weird amount of people that work at Naughty Dog, and but the most palpable two experiences was does Neil Druckmann have the beard and the long hair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One time, because we used to work, Viacom used to be right across the street from where Naughty Dog is, and I was at a stoplight waiting to cross the street to go eat, and Neil Druckmann was standing right next to me, and I swear to God he gave me a look, like
the cold shoulder at events.
Yeah.
Awesome.
As of a review.
But it might have been a coincidence. But no, my other friends that work there, like I've said to him, I'm like, I don't, I make no secret of it, and but like I also say, like, the reasons I have not liked them is like they're stupid, weird, dumb little like ludonarrative dissonance reasons, and then we like talked about it, and they would say like reasons for some of that stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Like they recontextualized like the city hall part where you walk in and there's a bunch of like waist high walls and stuff for me, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, I guess. I don't love it, but like it makes sense. The funny one was we had some Naughty Dog people in our studio because they wanted to see like our studio streaming setup, and it was the audio guys from Naughty Dog, like their heads of the audio, and we were talking for like hours. We were all just hanging out for like a few hours talking about the studio setup, and they were saying like, yeah, it looks like this is the best way you could be doing this, and I was like, yeah, if you had any pointers, and they were asking about streaming and stuff, and then we got into talking about the games and stuff, and it's kind of funny because it's like you get the impression that like even and this is true of any company, I'm sure, but like even people who work on the games sometimes like they know the concessions that are made for what reasons, but it's like there are certain things about games that even people who make them don't like,
Sure.
So
I definitely know PR people or other people at a company that are just like, oh, I'm not a big fan of the games we make. I just like this company,
Right, yeah. And like that's a very real thing. Like they all liked working there. They were doing all that stream stuff just because they wanted to. And yeah, it was really interesting to talk to them about that. And like, long story short, I know I'm talking for a long time, but long story short is like, yeah, none of them care. and it's not like I think in the olden days I was very much more like, this game is trash, fuck Last of Us, blah blah, like as a joke, but it doesn't always like come off as it comes off more seriously than I think meant it back then. Obviously it's a great game, and obviously I don't hate that game, it's just like, yeah, and they know that too. So
man, we all wish we were that cat, don't we, right now? Just the soft rubs. Just that.
I don't want to be that close to any human being.
That's the thing I miss that, Damiani, because Norbert's not like that. Norbert's quick. You got to like grab the guy and just force him. No, but he likes that. He likes to roughhouse. Whereas like Albus, our old cat, which would just like a wizard would just sit there and be like, yes, rub my head. And you just scratch and he's like, this is good. I enjoy this.
Bender is similar. It's hard to get him to like, even if he's sitting on the couch and you sit next to him, he'll like tolerate it for a second, then he'll get up and go somewhere else. It's just like, why?
My brother just got kittens, so whenever I call him, it's just like me in the background. He calls them his sea weasels. All right, this is from sea weasels. My brother's funny with nicknames and stuff like that, but they just like me. They just sound like little chicks. We miss Lightning Standee. is the name of this patron. I don't know if that has always been that, or if there are many things that I miss. It's gonna be weird. That first shoot in the studio is gonna be strange in like October or whatever. Hi, I've recently played through Final. Dating is a bad idea. That's a bad. Just the label is probably should avoid that. I've recently played through Final Fantasy 13-2 and Lightning Returns, and I've managed to let the games have the Tetris effect on me. For example, sometimes, well, not even gaming, I can hear floating treasure orbs nearby. Someone help me. Have any of you had a game give you a similar effect? Sound effects for sure.
All the time. Yeah.
I hear the package whoosh from Animal Crossing and everything, and like in life and other games, and I'll hear a whoosh, and I'm like, oh no.
When I'm obsessed with Assassin's Creed and I go for walks, I imagine climbing every building. Like, it's just so freaky. I'm just like, oh man, like climb up that, like little handhold right there.
The Witness recontextualized how I looked at objects for months.
I saw that on Twitter a lot. Yeah,
I still see puzzles in real life. I'm like, oh yeah, you can witness that.
Small objects, stuff you're supposed to pick up in games. When I see something on the ground that kind of looks like that, for like half a second, my brain's like, go get it. It's a piece of trash
with that. Yeah.
That's a lost item. You got to return it to a villager.
Sounds and stuff for sure. Too many examples to list, but like the Dark Souls bonfire sound, I'll just like hear sometimes. Like, yeah.
One of my favorites though is the way Pirates of the Caribbean smells. I'll just pick up.
Oh, sure.
For some reason, libraries. So I don't. Yeah. So I don't know how. No, the movie, Damiani.
Hey, just kidding. Maybe you've been to some of those locations where you shot.
Whoa.
Jack Sparrow.
I have been. They actually shot.
There you go. So it's like
part of the first one in
you
Palos Verdes.
visited one of the shooting locations. So like reminds you of the movie. I don't know. Maybe it's the theater you saw it in. So like that's
bromine in the water.
Yeah, just let me smell that DVD. But yeah, sometimes specifically libraries. I don't know why. I would be in a library every now and then and be like, It's just kind of like the
musty,
yeah,
damp,
particular type of thing. But like, kudos to any ride that has water in it that doesn't smell like absolute garbage. It's like, how do they do that? Like, how do they filter that so much? Or
apparently bromine,
especially if it's like all indoors.
According to chat.
Bromine is the water. Oh, bromine? You think bromine or bromine in the water? Oh, I wonder.
Pretty positive it's bromine.
All right, bromine.
I'll fight you.
All right. When we get back together, Ian, when we finally get back in the studio,
35.
We'll fight over that. Bromeme.
Alex
A. Hello, Allies. Thanks for answering my Would You Rather questions last month. I've decided to come back for round 2.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Would you rather have Bloodborne 2 or Super Mario RPG 2?
Bloodborne 2.
Sorry.
I don't think Super Mario RPG 2 is winning that one on this panel.
It's not, but I'll put my hand up for Super Mario RPG 2.
Man.
I'll do Mario RPG.
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne's
the best.
I guess I'll go Bloodborne. Yeah,
Bloodborne's the best, and you know it.
Bloodborne.
Mario RPG is real good, or Super Mario RPG.
Be stuck in a pit filled with snakes for 5 minutes, or have tiny spiders crawl in your hair for 10 minutes?
Oh,
snakes.
Probably. Oh man.
Oh, no way. No way.
Are they poisonous snakes or spiders?
Snakes. I would assume they wouldn't be poisonous because
I would go
snake. It depends on if their bites are poisonous.
Yeah, I guess
I'll
go spiders.
The only thing about the spiders is, because I would totally go spiders, but the only thing about spiders is, like, once you get out of that pit filled with snakes, like, there's no snakes around you anymore. Whereas, like, 3 days later, I bet you'd be spider!
Like,
also, especially, I got a lot more hair than you guys.
Yeah, what if I agreed to this and then showed up and I'd shaved my head and I was like, ha-ha! And I gave them my hair, and I'm like, you just have to put in like a bowl.
Yeah,
put the spiders in there.
Spiders in.
That's
if
great.
you can do that, then cut off a couple of inches.
These are 2 games that are nothing like each other. Have Bushido Blade 3 or No One Lives Forever 3?
Bushido Blade, baby.
Yeah.
Dude, No One Lives Forever is so good.
I'm totally familiar with it, Huber, but I never played it.
No
so
one
Huber,
lives
you
forever?
want?
Why am I not
you want
running
No
this?
One Lives?
It's
like
you're the spy.
That spy lady.
Yeah.
Bushido.
Yeah, I go Bushido. I never even played Bushido Blade 2. but
I'll go with No One Lives
was
Forever.
fun.
Forgotten classic.
Oh. Have no more Zelda games or no more Mario games?
Next question. Moving. No. Next. Not answering.
Yeah, I totally missed this "No One Lives Forever" thing. Wow.
You were.
He was out.
He left.
Huber left. So the correct answer is Huber deletes himself from existence.
Yeah. We got 5 more. We got 5 more of these, Huber. Okay, maybe he'll come back after the question's over. I'd probably pick Mario games.
I would be okay with no more Mario's over Zelda.
Because you could just keep making them in Mario Maker 2.
Gotta have Zelda.
Yeah. Have a Half-Life Portal crossover or a Bayonetta Devil May Cry crossover?
That's
Half-Life
funny.
Portal.
Portal.
I'm going Bayonetta. Devil May
Yeah,
Cry.
I'd go Bayonetta.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sick.
Not being a big fan of either of those franchises, just not experienced with them. And I feel like Portal already feels like Half-Life.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
It's like that makes more sense to me. Like there's a story to be
universe.
told there.
Yeah, I want a crossover that doesn't make sense.
Bayonetta Devil May Cry. It's like these universes don't line up.
Have a Total War and Middle Earth crossover,
they
or a
did
Star
that.
Wars Civilization crossover.
Didn't they do?
Yeah, we did
Didn't
get
they
Battle.
do
We got Battle for
Empire
Middle Earth. We got 2 of
at,
them.
Yeah.
A Star Wars Civilization.
That'd be
game.
pretty sick,
Well,
actually.
Well, I mean, not
I
to dig
don't know.
not to dig KOTOR, but we have gone 800 years in the past, and not a lot changed. So
I mean, yeah.
it's like that's the whole point of Civilization. It's like, look how far we've come. Whereas, like,
Well, you could do like
Federation.
you could start like really basic though, I guess, Jones, before there's even like Jedi and Sith officially and stuff like that.
yeah, just wipe out the Jedi right away. Just have no Jedi. Ever.
Yeah.
Like,
Less combat focused.
I'd probably go Star Wars though, because we already got Battle for Middle Earth. You can go play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I never did.
If you could really dig into if you could really change Star Wars, I think that'd be really cool. Like you were saying, Jones, just like here's my game with no Jedi, or here's my game where everyone is a Sith.
That's the Game of Thrones games I want.
Yeah.
You start with Game of Thrones book 1, and then you can just
That'd be cool.
wipe out Daenerys right away and just be like, nope, Stannis wins, yay!
The Star Wars Civ could be cool if you're like doing Coruscant, but it starts as just a planet, and then like 100 hours in, it's like all city and just like floors and floors and floors down. Yeah, that'd be cool.
We'll get back to that concept potentially. Damiani, I need you to open your mind, okay? Okay? I don't want you to jump to conclusions here. Okay?
Wait, open your mind.
Open your mind.
Open
Have
your mind.
Revengeance 2 or Vanquish 2?
Why I need to open my mind?
It's gonna pick Revengeance too.
Like when you said Revengeance 2, I was like, okay, what is the other sequel I most ever want in existence? And it's like, Vanquish is an awesome game. It was fun as hell to play, and it deserves the sequel. But I can't deny denying the existence of Revengeance 2.
Yeah,
especially if they get the right crazy writers on that, because that game was so like prophetic, like with like Armstrong and stuff. It's like, yeah, they need a follow up to that immediately,
like,
please.
That game takes place in the Metal Gear universe. It's crazy, like how crazy the Metal Gear universe is, and like that game was even crazier.
Solid Snake's essence is in a freaking wooden like Japanese sword or something in the Japanese version.
What?
Like, what?
I love having never played that game, because every time you talk about it, I'm just like, what?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It just needs to be made as stupid as possible. The dumbest things they can think of is put it into it and have fun.
I think Konami might still have that much in them.
But good, stupid.
Can you even have Raiden like slashing up a pachinko machine or something at one point?
Oh, that'd be good, yeah.
And he says like, not in a million years.
Have Scalebound be revived or Star Wars 1313?
1313.
Star Wars.
Speaking of levels of Coruscant.
I never was into scale.
I mean, I knew it will probably be a disaster, but because Kamio was so, his heart was so set on that game, I kind of want to see Scalebound.
Yeah, I feel.
Oh, they had like multiplayer though. Kind of weird, but
yeah, co-op.
Could have been cool.
I'm curious if they brought it back to like how much of that stuff will get axed. Like how much of it was stuff they did because Microsoft wanted it, and they're like, "Oh, I guess multiplayer, sure."
That's a good point. Yeah,
there's probably an
Scalebound-
interview out there that completely proves me wrong.
Scalebound looked like it was going to do something new and unique and different, whereas 1313 was like, not to be reductive, is like Uncharted Star Wars.
Oh, totally.
Kind of had the Fallen Order kind of scratched that itch a little bit.
I don't remember a lot about Scalebound, but I don't remember seeing it and being like, holy shit, I've never seen anything like this kind of thing. I was like, oh, it's another action game, but it's gonna be sick.
I remember seeing the main character wearing those like Beats by Dre
headphones,
and just being like, I'm out.
I was kind of out too. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
like,
the
this
biggest
guy
turnoff.
looks tedious. I'm out.
That's a decision for sure.
Yeah.
The thing for me, Huber, is just like every time we get a Star Wars anything, it's just Jedi, and I've always been a smuggler. That's why when I went to like Star Wars Land, people were like, "Did you get a lightsaber?" I was like, "Nah, get out of here."
Did you get a blaster?
They don't sell blasters.
What?
I mean, I have Han's blasters. I don't need a second one, but
You don't
and
need
they sell
another
a lot of the
blaster.
blasters that they sell. A lot of like the Toys R Us ones you can get are all Stormtrooper blasters.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of like the Nerf stuff. So yeah, that just, and again the Hennig thing would just look kind of more scoundrelly too. I was like, yes, I'm like, nope. Finally, have a remake of Silent Hill 2 or a Souls-like Castlevania game.
Oh, those are both good. Well,
Silent Hill 2
I mean, a whole
is
new
already
game versus a
10/10,
remake? Yes.
so-
Come on.
we've got the enhanced edition of 2. So Souls like Castlevania, baby.
Yeah, that's
thank
like
you, Ian.
the biggest
Thank you.
no-brainer
Ian?
for me ever.
Ian, thank you. Huber likes it too, so we got a chance.
Made by From?
Yeah,
The stars might align.
Yeah, yeah.
let's just
Sure.
say, yeah.
Oh, here we go. We're basically doing the same game again. This
I love
is from
Hubert
Dank.
being muted and really emphatically talking.
Made by From, but with supervision from Ego.
Yeah.
Danky Kang. Hello, allies. It's time for Or Your Babies 2 Electric Boogaloo. It's another tournament of theoretical video game media, and it's your job to pit them against each other until only one remains. Oh, so these are old... Oh, wait. No, these are new games coming. Yeah, these are new games. Love and respect from Manitoba, Canada. All right. New psyops or new mercenaries? Mercenaries.
Yeah,
I don't remember what PsyOps is.
Yeah.
It's a PS2 like telekinetic
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
thing.
Granted, Just Cause kind of took the steam,
It definitely did.
but
I liked
One more. Give it back.
Mercenaries back in the day.
multiple characters you can pick. Much more focus on, using the right vehicle for certain things. Where in Just Cause, it's like, why do I need a vehicle? I'm not
Just zip
gonna
everywhere.
drive a car. Like, get out of here.
Shout out to our boy Nick Plessis for being obsessed with Mercenaries. One of his favorite games of all time.
The OG
can see
Xbox game is. I've always been hungry to go back and maybe like full stream that. Yeah, I was obsessed. Diddy Kong Racing remake or Crash Bash remake?
Diddy Kong Racing. Diddy Kong Racing.
Diddy Kong.
Diddy Kong.
Racing.
Diddy Kong Racing.
Crash Bash. I don't even remember.
I don't know Crash Bash is.
Oh, that came out later, huh? Probably
Oh,
Diddy
chat
Kong.
mentioned Siphon Filter. Now I'm thinking about Siphon Filter. Oh,
Sure.
I like Siphon Filter.
You know what they should do is they
Didn't
should
Crash Bash
remake-
Check end up in the CTR remake?
How funny would a remake of a demo be? They should remake the Siphon Filter demo. Be like, yo, here's our remake of Siphon Filter. It's just the demo.
I love it.
remakes.
Yeah, demo remake, dude.
Demo remake.
People should just do that in Unreal Engine 4 or whatever, just for fun.
Oh, it's Crash Bash what we played at Easy Living?
We 100% streamed Crash Bash.
Yeah.
We've played it, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is totally... Yeah, okay. Got it. Not a racing game.
Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks 2 or a faithful remaster of Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the PS2. Huber,
Shaolin Monks.
I'll give you Shaolin Monks on this.
100%.
Just go back and play Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2 is
For
great.
Dawn.
Damn, Shaolin Monks 2 sounds fun.
Yeah. A live-action Netflix series based on Devil May Cry or based on Mass Effect.
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect.
I
I'd say
think
Mass
Mass
Effect too.
Effect,
Yeah,
Mass
like
Effect
that.
might work better.
I think live-action Devil May Cry would be just dumb.
It would be
Not that Devil May Cry is dumb,
so
but that
annoying.
I think there are only a handful of people on the planet that could pull that off.
Because
And
they're
I think
doing
it just odds, just in Vegas rolling the dice. It's like that would not be good. Whereas
doing
Mass
like
Effect,
like the behind the scenes DMC 5 thing.
yeah, unless they did that,
A whole show, like a whole
cardboard
season done like
and
that,
rubber,
yes.
yeah.
They're doing the anime. Devil May Cry anime is coming out.
Yeah.
There already is an anime.
That's what I
too.
mean. Like animated DMC is a whole different thing.
Yeah,
Live action
animated it
DMC,
works.
though, like-
Live action,
All right, here, Division 2. So I don't know. Are we supposed to? Was it Kill Your Babies? Are we supposed to then put these against each other, or I don't know why these are separated into divisions, but we're in Division 2 now.
Okay.
New Soul Reaver or new Parasite Eve?
Yo.
You probably go Parasite Eve, right, Ian? I'm straight Soul Reaver. I love
It's
that
tricky,
series.
man. I like both of
But
these.
it's been so long.
I'd probably go Parasite Eve just for more nudity.
Sure.
Sure, yeah.
Oh wait, but that was Parasite Eve nudity, or that was Fear Effect?
The main boss at the end was like pseudo topless, but
Oh, really? Cool.
I'm just teasing.
Or Fear Effect was just sexy. I don't know if Fear Effect had
Fear
nudity.
Effect was definitely sexy, but yeah,
I like
I
that.
don't know.
I like that comment. Parasite Eve has high remake potential.
Oh, yeah.
100%
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it does. Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
good.
Soul Reaver though, man, like what happened to you? Where you go? Where you go?
happened?
Just one of those series, man.
That's a good show. One of those series. 2, a remake of Klonoa 1 and 2, or a remake of Tomba 1 and 2. The stakes.
I've never been
I've
higher.
already
picked
sort of
Klonoa.
remade Klonoa, so maybe Tomba.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of these, but Tomba was fun from what I remember.
Tomba it is. Oh my goodness. Naughty Dog making an Alien game, or Naughty Dog making a Terminator game. I would say Terminator.
I think they'd be more suited for Terminator, kind of.
Yeah.
Terminator.
Yeah.
More possibilities.
Particularly
for
into
bombs.
either of these ideas.
Less,
Yeah. I feel
like
less
when you're-
interesting. Yeah.
I feel like when you're going up against the alien, it's like very quiet, self-reflective, you versus the alien, whereas Terminator is like you got
Survival, you know.
you got
No,
your
man, this
John
Ter-
Connor, your Sarah Connor.
This Alien game is not just one alien, man. It's got to be like Alien style.
That's the
Tons of
thing
aliens.
that's not Naughty Dog to me, you know? Like that's
That's
like
what's
such
exciting about it to me
hardcore-
because it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
different.
Yeah.
And neither of these is. I wouldn't pick Naughty Dog for either of these, probably.
Yeah, who could make an Alien game? Who am I thinking of? Just any of the Call of Duty
Creative
developers,
Assembly.
you know, like
Yeah.
okay. It's Sledgehammer on that. Is Sledgehammer still a thing? Did they get? Yeah, because they made World War II. Isn't that like on Game Pass or something? World War II just like
who
had
made,
a thing. They had like
who
an
made
announcement.
Amnesia? Chinese Room?
No.
They made the second
this.
That was
yeah,
the second one,
sequel.
yeah.
No, it's
Whoever made Amnesia. Also, Remedy would make a good Alien game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'd make a cool one.
Frictional, that's right. Yeah.
A 2D fighting game starring characters across various Square Enix games, or a survival horror Pokemon game?
Yo.
I've been wanting this Final Fantasy
Yeah.
fighting game forever. Like,
For
give it
sure.
to Arc System Works or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
please.
And I know we already have one, but I have no interest in playing any version of Dissidia.
Yeah,
Just never
neither do
really-
I.
That's not 2D, and it's also really freaking weird.
Yeah, that's the
Survival
that's one of
horror
the.
Pokemon game though. That's hilarious. That sounds great.
Maybe.
Nah,
I mean,
it's like amusing, but like
I can't even
I would
picture it.
I would legit like try to get good.
You like
at
run
a-
out
at a
of what's
Square
mana
Enix.
in Pokemon? Is it like
And
PP
keep
or
in mind,
something?
it's not just Final Fantasy games, Square Enix games. So
Oh.
we get Chrono in there, and we get. P.S. I'm currently playing through Suikoden and Tactics and having a great time. I would give it a
Yeah.
solid 8.
Is that what won last time? I think that was what won the last time we did this.
Yeah, apologies if I'm playing this wrong.
Well,
But,
now we're supposed to take all the winners and put them against each other.
Oh,
Oh, that's what we do?
That's what we
yeah.
did last time.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we have a new Mercenaries, a new Diddy Kong remake, MK Shaolin Monks 2, a Netflix series based on Mass Effect, a new Parasite Eve was what we were
Yeah.
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 Okay. A new Tomba 1 and 2, Naughty Dog making a Terminator game, a 2D Square Enix fighting game. There we go.
lightning round quickly. The one you want the most, Shaolin Monks.
Parasite Eve.
Square Enix fighting game.
yeah.
Sure, yeah, I'm on the Square Enix fighting game.
Sure. I'll go with that.
Oh,
I feel like there was supposed to be
Looks like that
brackets, so I was
wins.
waiting for what was going to come up
What
next.
did
so-
Damiani say?
Final Fantasy fighting game.
Ah,
for
okay.
Sure.
yeah, there we go.
Well, I
That
mean,
takes it.
Square Enix fighting game if it's Square Enix.
I mean, personally, I want that new Mercenaries. but
Yeah,
I would,
dude,
I would not.
Frog and
I
that.
would not
Holy shit. Damn.
Angelo, hey Elias, when I was way younger, one of the things I loved doing when playing games was naming characters silly names, and I mean very silly. I still do that from time to time, but mostly for games with silent characters and/or only if I think it will not distract me too much. What kind of names did you use to give your characters at a younger age? I definitely changed the Final Fantasy VI characters when I first play. I think I called Edgar Arthur.
And dude, like, I rocked Max Payne all the time, or Wesker.
I remember you, Max Payne and Counter-Strike.
Or Hitman.
Agent 47.
I was Syndrome
Forever, yeah.
I was tempted to rename everybody in my Final Fantasy VII on Switch playthrough, but I was like, no. I did rename Aerith to Aerith because it's like, it's just in my head now. So it's like, I want to make sure that this like.
Nothing tops Cinestics.
Pretty good.
Damn Cinestics.
Haven't gotten that far yet. Haven't gotten that far. Maybe I'll change it when I get there.
I do a lot of the crazy name stuff as a kid. Since I gotten older, I've done like, I always like name Cloud Lightning or Lightning Cloud, stuff like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I do stuff like that. I do like this goofy stuff to have fun, but I always like pick like the default names. Like never name my Pokemon. Always pick like default character names for stuff because it's like I'm gonna play the way it was intended to be played. Which ironically is like, well, naming whatever you wanted was the way you were supposed to play it.
Right.
I just didn't get it as a kid.
The thing I would always do is because my whole life I've thought my name looks best in all capitals just because I like the way the letters look. It's more angular, whatever. So I would always do it all in capitals, but then it would look really stupid whenever anyone talked because they would always like yell my name every time they said it. They're like, good idea, Ian! Like, yeah, so it's just all caps all of a sudden. Yeah, I don't really rename people anymore.
Yeah, Bossman would, I forgot his name for a second. Bossman would flip out whenever I would almost all cap a Pokemon name when I was like just starting to do it, and he's like, no. I'm like, oh,
that's
sorry.
funny.
You can't rename those Pokemons, or you're never gonna learn what they're damn.
I know that's my problem too.
Yeah, I'm super boring in this. I have no creative names. Although I do miss. He is playing Animal Crossing. I haven't visited his town yet, but my buddy that we used to play the GameCube Animal Crossing together would do extremely offensive things with T-shirts and nicknames and stuff, and then they would move to my town. I'd be like, no, get away, stop. All right. I Sanchez 1. Hello, allies. Ben, I have a question for you, and I have an answer for you, I Sanchez. Back at E3 2015, you had to cover Ghost Recon Wildlands. I remember at that moment, you hated having to go to that meeting because it happened at the same time as the Sony conference. Do you still hate the game after all this time for making you miss that moment? His response, no, I don't harbor any negative feelings toward the game. It's unfortunate. Ideally would have been there, but my job's to cover video games, and I was just doing my job. A safe answer. Caesar Villa. Hello, allies. How have you been doing? Funny that the Q&A format lasted just a few months because of this pandemic thing. We're here back the way the show originally was done, except we're on Zoom now. Anyway, I hope you're all doing fine. I've been wondering for some time if you guys have ever thought of what would have happened if Viacom was the one to shut down GT instead of selling it to defunct media, as he refers to it. I believe the whole Defy situation was the one that made you bond even harder and willing to stick together. Not saying that during the GT era you were strangers, but I believe that whole situation was pivotal to the creation of Easy Allies. So that's the question. Have you ever thought of how life would be if the Defy sale never happened and GT closed back in June 2014 instead of February 2016? Estamos en contact, Caesar. Yeah. Like, that's why 2014 was the worst year of my life, hands down, because I knew stuff was happening. I knew that, like, we were going to be sold, we were going to be shut down, we were going to be sold, we were going to be shut down, and that was like the whole year. And like, I couldn't tell anyone I worked with, I couldn't talk about it, I didn't get to go to any of these meetings. I was just like, oh, that owner guy, be careful around the owner guy. He, you know, the guy who the founder. Shh, don't tell the founder. We just had a meeting, it went bad, don't tell him. It was just like pins and needles, like every day I went to work. And I think the two big things would be, one, you know, the group at Defy Media became Easy Allies with the exception of shout out to Map Lair. Whereas, like, there were so many people that were let go by game trailers, and I don't know if our Patreon could have supported like, what, 20 25 people? How big would that company be?
Well, I mean, around that time, I mean, GT was about 60 people strong, but some of those people, like Megan, like ended up just working at Viacom rather than getting laid off.
Right.
Yeah.
Bobby Burns is still there, right?
Bobby
like
Burns
most of the video editors, you know, they just got other work. So yeah, it definitely would have been way different. We definitely like were forged in fire together. And don't forget that, you know, even before Defy shut us down, we lost Damiani and Jamie and Kelly, and so yeah.
Patron also didn't exist. So
yeah.
Right.
Well, and when Defy or when Viacom shut us down and fired almost everybody, they initially, I think, kept Marco and fired Don, and then Marco was like, nah, screw it, and then they were like, okay, Don. So it was very weird.
Yeah, Marco went and started his own company with Dan.
Yeah.
I also definitely went back and forth on whether we're going to Defy. I was just like, I don't know.
I remember you were thinking.
I've been doing this for a decade. This might be a good opportunity to move on and do other stuff. And I'm glad I stuck around. But yeah,
it worked out.
But yeah, I've thought long and hard about all of those contingencies, what that would have been like, how that would have played out. I spent a whole year thinking about it. Michael, what's the angriest you've gotten at a competitive game? How did you deal with that anger, and do you still play it? I broke a Super Nintendo controller for Street Fighter, but that I wasn't playing. I was playing against the AI.
Wait, was this a question from Michael or to one of them?
This is from Michael. Sorry.
Okay.
Only Damiani and Hubert can answer this.
Yeah.
Competitive game. I'm trying to think. I get pissed at mobile games every now and then. I get pissed at Galaxy of Heroes. But that's like the game itself.
It's hard for me to get mad. A very recent example, I guess, where I was kind of upset was when Kyle beat us in Power Stone because he used Gourmand.
That was so frustrating.
So annoying. That was a really good one.
That was so frustrating.
Yeah. I think losing in person is just like it stings a little more, you know.
Yeah.
So like I think of, you know, back in the day, obviously like losing to my brother in GoldenEye, or like, you know, those ones sting a little bit more versus online.
I remember there was a time where you know, I was really into Killer Instinct in high school, and I was like playing Killer Instinct Gold a lot, I think, on N64. And like I had like learned all these combos. I had figured out how to do like 50 hit combos and stuff like that. All this practice down. And then this buddy of mine comes over and he just like hits low kick a lot. And like I can't figure out how to hit him, and he's just doing the same stupid low kick over and over. And I'm like, I know all the moves. Why can't I hit you?
Online players. I know it's not online, but like that's like the thing. Blood. Like very highly skilled, like Street Fighter players or whatever players, they go online. They expect a level of play because like you like knew a bunch of like you put so much time. At least expect to know the basics. And you go against someone who doesn't do anything as expected, and you'll like people lose to that because they're like, what the? This is so. It's like fighting RNG basically. So I've definitely seen that, and it's amusing and stuff. So I can understand your pain there, Blood. It's kind of funny.
I get so instantly demoralized by multiplayer stuff. I just don't even try usually.
Oh,
I try not to invest.
The GT arcade cabinets that just like completely destroy your self-esteem. Like you try to like walk up and learn Money Puzzle, and it's like, no, it's not going to happen.
Those are all
Nobody
broken.
cares about you learning. They're just going to bury you.
Sorry, I was distracted because Omar got a package, and then I see that it was shoes. And then he brings over this iPad looking like NFC charging plate and plugs it into his computer. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then he puts the shoes on top of the charging plate and the side lights up. And I'm like, oh, cool, light up shoes. And he goes, no, power lace shoes, Back to the Future, baby. So he's got these power lace ass.
You put them on and they conform.
Automax. Check it out. They've got buttons.
Now he's playing.
Hang on, let me turn the background off.
No, it's on for a hot second.
Here.
Ooh.
Oh, they're actually
They smell
Nikes too.
They smell kind of good. Oh, and that's gonna start that video over. Oh well. Anyway, sorry.
Huber, when you beat me at GoldenEye, I had to look at myself in the mirror for a long time that night before I went to bed. I had to.
Well, dude, we're two sides of the same coin, man. You're the
you always say
master.
that, and you always say that, and it doesn't.
Dude, you in that campaign, man. You got to feel good about that, Jones.
Yeah,
You gotta
Jones.
feel...
You know why?
amazing about it.
Because I bet
devastated he couldn't use it.
Because I bet, Huber, if you took 20 hours and put it into
probably not
to practicing the campaign, you would improve. If I put 20 hours to getting better at GoldenEye, you would still whip my ass. I believe it. I also just, because Amanda's getting back into Hearthstone, I was like playing Hearthstone with her last night, and she's like was a little salty in the last match and like did some BM, and like I just remembered like, oh yeah, Hearthstone BM, I forgot about that. When like you lost, you're done. You're like, okay, I lost, and the person's like, oop, put out a card. Put it. You're just like, just stop, just please. Like, all right, forfeit, great. Like, you're super cool. Like, I get so angry. It's so easy for that person just to like, haha.
It's competitive gaming, dude.
Got ya.
I played a round of Valorant and some guy teabagged me. Then the next round, I killed him and I teabagged him back. Then just like sprayed his body with bullets. And I was like, justice.
Man, just thinking about playing Hearthstone again. It feels like thinking about going back to college. It's like, so I would never do that. Like,
that's right. Yeah, just opening that Battle.net account was visceral. It was
God.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How old am I?
Yeah, I've had to uninstall Battle.net from my computer like 8 times.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. Like Final Fantasy 11 is still online, isn't it, Damiani? Like that would be so nuts to go into that world. Like, call Square Enix. Can I start this account again? I don't even remember what email this was. Like what? I guess it was my game trailers email. Who knows?
Going back to that game. Sorry.
Yeah.
I have never saw PvP in that game either. I have no idea what it's like.
They did, yeah. They did add that after a while. Andrew Burt. Hey, Allies. I was wondering if there are any games that do something you don't normally play around with very well that make you want to actually play a different way. Example, I don't normally like playing wizards or magic characters in games, but Dragon Age Inquisition makes it really engaging and punchy, so I actually enjoy picking a magic character. Cheers. Love and respect, Andrew. Skyrim VR. I went sorcerer. 100%.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, no bow and arrow, no nothing, just fire out of my hands. Rah! You know, like that's definitely the best way to play that game. And I never go magic. I never deal with MP and intellect and all that stuff. I'm always melee or ranged, if I can. Range filth.
Really liked Magic in Final Fantasy 15, but it always felt supplementary. Like you couldn't really go all in on it.
Oh, I see.
But it is something I don't typically mess around with that much. And it was like my favorite part of, other than the Warp Strike, obviously, just Magic in 15. Really like how they did it.
This makes me want to play Dragon Age Inquisition. That was this gen, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was a cross-gen title, I think.
I don't think so.
Played 1 and 2.
It was pretty early, but I don't think it was cross-gen.
I loved recently giving Barrett the melee weapon. So
that was weird.
After playing Barrett as like a range shooter, and then Barrett could go like melee and doing these like big slow wind-up combos. It was really awesome. I kept wanting to do that, but then I was like, oh crap, I don't have a range. I gotta use magic, otherwise I don't have range. So that was I like games like that where they can transform a character in the same game.
Was that Tekken with the 1, 2, 3? He would like count as he would like wind up his punch. I think that was Tekken. Just me. I'm the only one who remembers.
So it was Brad?
Yeah, it was on PS3 also.
Crazy.
Oh. Nice, Brad. Shut him down.
Take that, Bloodworth.
Haha, pew pew.
Ah.
Otherwise I'm so stubborn. I used the same weapon the whole time in Bloodborne, used the Buster Sword the entire time I played Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like,
really?
Yeah, I never swapped. I swapped weapons for the other characters, but I was just like,
you swapped to learn. You
So
swapped to learn abilities though. Then you would go back.
Nope.
Didn't you? What? You didn't learn new abilities?
just not for Cloud. Just not for Cloud.
The Buster Sword gets outpaced like instantly.
Yeah.
I actually used the Buster Sword most of the game too, but I can't believe you didn't learn the new moves, dude.
Triple slash? You didn't learn triple slash?
You did not learn
the
triple
Buster
slash.
Sword?
Triple slash is so good.
I did have triple slash, so how did I learn that?
You're a liar, is how.
You used the weapon and you learned the ability. Triple slash is like one of the first ones you get.
Then I must have used that weapon for like 2 seconds, and then I went back.
Well, it's more than 2 seconds, but
Don't believe his lies. Brandon Jones.
yeah, no infinity end, dude. Whew. I'm sad now.
Gotta play it again.
I'm not even mad. I'm just sad, dude.
I guess. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
But any other
I don't know
stepping
if I can
outside
think
your
of an
comfort
example.
zone?
I definitely like would change, like in tactics games, I would change a character's spec like halfway through sometimes. I can't think of other examples. Because like I know ways I like to play games, and I force the games to my will.
Yeah. I'm stubborn most of the time. James, if one video game track was your personal boss theme song, which one would it be? Dancing Mad for sure. It's got it all.
Sure.
What's that from?
That's Kafka's.
Yeah, that's the very end of
Which movement? There's like 5 movements.
All of them. That's why I picked
okay,
it.
the whole thing. Okay.
So he's picking a song that's like 30 minutes long.
Yeah, it's a long one.
And I felt bad when I full playthrough Final Fantasy VI because I was like, "Oh, Dancing Mad, this track's so great." And I was talking to chat and I wasn't thinking. I was like, "Ultima, Ultima, Ultima, Ultima," and I killed him. I was like, "Oh." Like, oh, sorry.
Whoops.
Were you
like
you only
99?
heard like 3 minutes of it. No, I was up there though. I was in the 60s or something, but I was like, sorry. Probably should have just kicked back and listened to that for a little bit, but well.
Yeah, since you went with that Magus theme, Chrono Trigger.
Ooh.
That's a good song.
Like, I don't know how I don't pick One Winged Angel. Like the GOAT, dude.
Like Psycho vibes.
Into Free from Dragon's Dogma comes to mind.
The title theme?
Yeah. Or Snake Eater, or Gwen Lord of Cinder, Forever from Everybody's Gone to the Rapture would be kind of cool. See, that's the thing. Sometimes you want a bombastic song for a boss, but other times it's really effective when it's like a sad tune. Dark Souls and Bloodborne do that sometimes. You're just like, oh, this is dope as hell. Like, the final boss is just like a solo piano. It's like, what? Yeah. It's cool.
I'll go with that God of War main theme, the original.
Oh, shit.
Oh, the OG. Sure.
Bossing name.
Or
Can I have
just,
2 phases, though? Can we start phase 1?
That's what's Huber's phase 2. Okay.
Yeah, phase 1 is the Resident Evil save music. You start slow. You're like, what the hell is this?
That's just
Resident
2
Evil
different
1?
songs,
Remake?
then.
Is this an NPC or is this a boss? What's
All right,
going
cool.
on here?
That's cheating, dude.
And then
That's
phase
2 different
2.
songs.
That's what I mean, phases.
All right, I want 3 phases then. Like, let's just keep ramping it
if
up.
you're a boss, you got multiple songs, multiple phases.
Yeah, phase 1, Forever from Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Phase 2,
Right.
Into Free. Phase 3, Wannabe by the Spice Girls.
I'm starting with Wario's Stadium from Mario Kart. What do you, Damiani? Have you dropped this in? He's got to be Titan, right? Or what was the first like
Leviathan,
hardcore
dude.
Leviathan? What's the hardest metal
Yeah, like, that's like
that
Brad's
14 has ever
favorite.
dropped?
It's like the worst song, but like it just makes Brad laugh.
It's
every
fun to
time.
us.
I just love it because like it just makes Brad laugh.
It was the
It makes
concert,
Brad
dude.
laugh.
It was
And
the
then, like, when he
concert.
sees- when he
The
sees
Mighty
Boss-
Boss Tones
And,
guy.
like, as like I said,
Yeah.
he like sees Koji Fox and all these like 14 developers on the composers on stage playing, and Brad's just like, it's Mighty Boss Tones.
His hat and shit, dude. Yeah. It was awesome.
So I can never not see that and hear that now. It's like
Yeah.
Brad laughing. It's like you're like BlizzCon gets Metallica. They get
Yeah.
my boss.
Hey, yeah. I prefer the Final Fantasy one. That'd be hilarious.
That's great. That makes me laugh.
I brought up a list for this, but Damiani might just be able to speed us past this answer. From Discarded Digit, what's the worst item in a 3D Zelda game?
Ooh.
I got the list of all of the items
The
right here.
worst.
The worst item.
The worst item.
You've got
Of
a
like
list,
the
though. That's not
ability
fair.
items or like
Like,
usable?
I don't know what
Yeah.
any of these are.
Paste that link somewhere.
I mean,
Yeah, I'll drop it if any of you are
Put it in
yeah,
Slack.
on Twitch.
like,
Put
you
it in
gotta
Slack.
define.
Well,
Oh,
it's
you
in
put it
Twitch
in
chat.
You can define worst. I mean, there's ones that are like the least useful. Like they don't have much use, and like underused or maybe not underrated. The spinner even has more use. The ball and chain in Twilight Princess is like so cool, but it's like
Barely use it.
barely use it outside. Like
The
few
dungeon.
specific instances. Like even though like the spinner has more use, but the same thing with the spinner. Like Twilight Princess had some awesome ass items, and just like they kept them too specific to specific areas. It didn't really allow you to use them in creative ways in other areas. So that's kind of a bummer. But like they're still awesome. I wouldn't call those like the worst though. There's like maybe least useful in general. Yeah,
Man, this list has like
there's some
everything.
like terrible.
Yeah, most of these have the
items.
wooden sword, so I'm just like,
There's
like
no
sword
technically there is no wooden sword.
Oh,
Which is called sword technically.
not according to this wiki.
Yeah, the wiki says wooden
Wiki's
sword.
wrong.
I mean, there's things that have since said it is made of wood, but it's not actually called wooden sword. That's kind of funny. No, the Decade Leaf from Wind Waker is awesome. What are you talking about? Let's you to glide and shit.
Yeah, it's
What are
fun.
you talking about? I mean, the
talking
worst,
about?
yeah, like the giant's knife without chopping up the fake Bigeron sword, basically. That
Oh,
one
sure.
sucks to get like 100 swings and it breaks.
That's
But,
a good pick.
I always did not like the Stone of Agony from Ocarina of Time. It seemed like a
Really?
the vibration and stuff seemed like a cool idea. I like never used that thing. So for me personally, I just like was it maybe a cool concept, but like in terms of for me, I just was like
Sure, yeah.
whatever, meh. There you go, Jones, meh. Meh.
Yo, they should bring back the cape, man. That would make you go like invincible.
Good. You're talking about the cape from
Link to the Past. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the cape from the Minish Cap or one of the Oracle games, like Ages. That lets you like glide, like kind of like
That's
jump
cool,
in and do like a
too.
glide. Yeah, like cape stuff in Zelda games are awesome.
Bring
dude.
back capes, dude.
I know people don't like the like some of the canes from A Link to the Past, like the one that makes the block. Like people think it's just used for that one puzzle. But it's kind of like, I mean, I can see that being on the low end of things. Just like makes a freaking block and it can explode. But I mean, it's actually kind of useful. The
magic
gloves.
armor I'm looking at.
That might be the worst gear. I don't know if I call it an item. That's gear.
Right.
That because you need it drains your rupees.
Yeah.
Because Malo is an asshole.
Isn't it? Aren't you have like infinite health though with it?
Yeah, but like it just drains your rupees, so it's like
I think it's like one of those things that by the time you get it, like infinite health, who cares, right?
There need to be a way to like turn off the rupee draining, like for like post game or something, like for like at certain points, because like it should be actual reward. I don't know. Oh, I know what the names are. It is.
He's making it easy for us.
I think that's a detailed response. Did you want to dig deeper, Damiani?
I mean, trying to think of something from Breath of the Wild. Like a weapon or something I just like did not like or something.
A rusted sword? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
You need the bad items, the bad weapons, so you feel the power of the good ones.
Shout out to Wiz Robes in that game. They're sick in that game.
Wiz Robes. Teleporting around, being jerks.
They're like toucans in Wind Waker. It's hilarious.
I don't like how maybe I don't like how much the boomerang works in Breath of the Wild, I guess.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
The gust bellows in Skyward Sword looks pretty lame. I'm trying to remember it.
Oh, it's where you like blow sand away and stuff, right?
Yeah, it was way more useful in the it's called something else in the Minish Cap.
Right.
But it was because I could suck and shoot out things. Like they use it to better effect in that.
So
the very first dungeon uses it in the Minish Cap, which is great. Yeah, it's not just a clip. It's way more useful in Smash. Yeah, knocking people off the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Triforce is like the worst item.
Stop.
It doesn't do anything.
Doesn't it grant your wish or something?
Yeah, you can't use it in games.
It plays the end credits.
Oh, why can't I use the Triforce in the game?
Other people use it.
Plays the end credits.
New Game
Plays
Plus.
the end credits.
Robert Lee, I've been thinking of Final Fantasy VII recently, comparing the original to the remake. What game mechanics do you prefer in the original game than in the remake, and vice versa? Robert's mechanics that he prefers in the original. Unpopular opinion here. I prefer the combat in the original game. The crazy and creative materia combination is why I love Final Fantasy VII. Gold Saucer Coliseum is so much fun, which, yeah, of course, they'll get to. No cutscenes in boss battles is a major bonus. The pacing in the original game, you're getting through areas quicker, and I can't remember many areas dragging, and the ability to use summons freely at the cost of MP. Mechanics I prefer in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Weapon upgrades and customization. Being able to view enemy intel at any time. Ability to restart battles and very generous save points. Able to save the game almost anywhere. Being able to view enemy intel during combat, which I think you said twice. And controller vibration. What are your thoughts? Love and respect, Robert Lee.
A lot of that's like stuff we're going to get to more, like materia.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a ton of materia in the original, but some of it just is like not great anyways. So... I think it's pretty decent what they have so far, but there's definitely room to grow.
Yeah, I mean, the snarky answer is just like the ending. Like it actually has the rest of the game. But I mean, that's just a joke. The pacing thing is real, though, for me. Like, it did feel a little padded to me.
I like some of the puzzle stuff in the original version through what we've seen so far more than the remake.
Like the Switch?
I kind of like the vibes I got from the battery stuff, scaling the wall.
Oh, I hate that actually. I'm not a fan of that in the original.
Like extra things. The Shinra building, like actually like having to like go look at the books to figure out the password for the mayor.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know. It felt like there's a little bit more of
I can join this conversation. I know what he's talking about. I played it.
Yeah. It's just like, did I enjoy doing that stuff? Like, if there's there for the option, it doesn't necessarily mean I'll enjoy it, I guess. Like, the puzzle stuff is okay, I guess. I don't know.
Going up those wires, Brad, was probably my least favorite part of the OG. Final
Yeah, I don't
Fantasy
like
VII.
that.
Climbing up that wall, I was like, where am I going? Because that was one of the things that turned me off from Final Fantasy VII was just like the fact that you can, and I don't know if the original had this, where you would like bring up those triangles.
Yeah.
It would be like, here's the exit.
Select.
Like,
Yeah.
Always play with that on. Yeah.
But it just, the fact that the game needed that, that you couldn't, like, 1 through 6 didn't have that, because it's like, there's the door. You can tell, it's very easy to tell like where you can go and where you can't go, because everything is right angles. But like,
because it's supposed to be an immersive movie, Jones.
And it was those environments were very fascinating. Right. But it was just like, there were some parts I watched when you guys streamed the full playthrough where you're going through caves, and I'm just like, how the hell, like, you would like take a right and I'd be like, what? Like, it's all gray. Like, how do you know like where the areas are?
There's some sections like that.
And that was, it was just, I didn't have any of those problems playing through. And there's obviously, like you would mention the Shinra building, like it's very clear where the hallways and doorways are and stuff. But that one section, especially there's one part where there's a thing swinging back and forth and you have to like jump off.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like the 12th try. I
like that section in Shinra building, if you go one way, you could like hide behind the pillars where the guards are moving. I don't really like that.
Oh, I like that.
I don't really like it.
I did like the atmosphere more in OG of the lead up to the president's office with actual red blood.
Gotta keep it.
They changed that style.
Gotta keep it teen, baby.
Yeah.
You also talk to a lot more people in the original Shinra Tower. Like there's a lot of employees. There's like a gym where they're all working out. And
you get to see more. I think of the like variety in the Shinra building in the original, but like I still felt there's pretty good amount of conversation even in the remake.
Yeah, like the whole museum and everything.
Yeah, it was just different. They just did like a different take on the Shinra building. It was kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked just the air vent just to listen in on the boardroom, but I just love like Cloud just kind of shifts forward and then it does like the cutscene and then you just have
goes
to, like,
backwards.
Go back.
Yeah.
It was fun. And finally, our 25th question coming from MGS Junkie. Not even a question, just something for all of you to remember. Hopefully, you can take with you for this week and until we all meet again in the next Easy Allies Q&A. Every struggle in your life has shaped you into the person you are today. Be thankful for the hard times. They can only make you stronger. Keanu Reeves. Love and respect times 2000. MGS Junkie. Yay. You know what I saw? The Day the Earth Stood Still? You ever see that?
With Keanu, the remake?
Yeah.
Pretty rough.
Yeah,
It's pretty rough.
it's rough.
I didn't even know about this.
I don't know if you all, when I say Day They Were Stood Still, you probably remember like the big robot with the like Knight Rider eye. You know, it was like iconic from the original. I don't know how they botched that dude. I don't know how they made that look bad. It's literally just a big metal thing. It's like, we got good at this in the 90s in terms of CG. And they somehow, he was a big glittery mess. He just looked really, really strange.
I gotta see that.
It's a weird film. Yeah, I think it's either on Stars or on Amazon. I can't remember what I watched. I've been like,
Well, I have Amazon and I don't have Stars.
well, check it out on Amazon there. We are Easy Allies. That was our Q&A for the month of May. If you want to be a part of this, again, this is our $20 tier, patreon.com/easyallies. Mr. Ben Moore is the original host of this show. Hopefully he will be returning next month, but he puts up a post, puts up a Google form where you can submit all of your questions. Let us know what name you would like us to refer to you as, and then we will do this live on Twitch for everybody to watch. But we try not to incorporate, we take tips from chat, but we try not to incorporate questions from chat because we really want to focus on the wonderful conversations that are started from our lovely patrons at that tier. And thank you so much for people for watching. Thank you for subbing and resubbing, and of course to all of our mods. But we want to thank all of the patrons of Easy Allies, but people especially staying in. Again, this is a $20 tier. People staying at this tier, continuing to support us through these difficult times. We very much appreciate that. And we love hanging out, and we love talking. Again, I wish I could hug you all in VR playing No Man's Sky, but this is the closest that we can all get to each other in these difficult times.
No Man's Sky free on Game Pass next month.
Oh, cool.
VR though, no VR on that Xbox.
Ah,
I
maybe on
wonder if
PC. I don't know.
No Man's Sky PC.
Yeah.
We could do it. Yeah. I guess if it's on, I get them both there. Okay. All right. Lots of stuff to talk about and consider doing as we move into the month of June. Got fun stuff, fun events coming up. IGN just dropped their schedule for all of the their summer of gaming that they were going to be doing. So lots of fun reasons to stick around, hang out with us on Twitch for reactions and fun streams that we got coming up. I'm playing Maneater in 2 hours.
I'll be your
Come back for our
Sherpa.
group stream tonight. Thank you, Brad. I appreciate that.
Stream. Oh, did we miss that wholesome?
That was this morning.
Oh, that was today.
Nah,
Was it good?
we
Did
missed something wholesome.
yeah, there's Wholesome Direct. It was like a bunch of indie games. I guess it was this morning. Oh well, never mind.
I kind of missed the Zelda question. Deku nuts suck. I've never used one in
There
my
we go.
life. Never used one in my life. 30
Slam
years
dunk.
of playing Zelda, never used one.
And you're playing
Pointless.
Got experiment, Huber.
There you go.
Pointless
such
item.
such a crucial item, but okay.
There's your answer, everybody. We are Easy Allies. Thank you so much for watching the Q&A. We will see you later on. Bye, everybody.